Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is staying safe, in this pandemic, and I hope everyone is home and doing well. So, on the first video that I had done, it was a basic video, basic ESL video. As I stated earlier, I'm an ESL teacher. Although I've been doing ESL for 20 years, I'm new at this YouTube stuff. So you have to please bear with me as I make mistakes and I correct those mistakes, as I go along. I appreciate all the comments that I've been getting because it has been helping me learn how to do things, which, is going to make my channel better. But please leave a like and thumbs up. Please subscribe so that you can actually view my other videos. And please, I appreciate the comments so much because they're helping me. You really don't know how nice it is for people to reach out and say, hey, why don't you do this or why don't you do that? So, on the first video, it was called the middle rule. So I explained middle in pronunciation is the most important in English. If you remember, if you're back from last time, then you remember. If not, you can always go back and view my other videos. If you're subscribed, you'll see all of them. Anyway, the pronunciation of English is very important. And it's very important in the middle. I labeled that one Lesson 1, Step 1. Now this, although I didn't put it up on the board because I didn't need to, what lesson it is, but this is actually Step 2. So this is what I usually do when I'm teaching in school as a second step. So this is what we call sentence structure. Okay? Sentence structure is very important because it helps you to speak, correctly. If you don't know sentence structure, you're going to be very choppy. You don't want to be choppy. Really, you do not want to be choppy. So, as you can see, or hopefully you can see, I don't have my assistant with me today, so I'm doing this by myself. I have PowerPoint on the screen, or something like PowerPoint. So I did use that suggestion from one of my viewers. They showed me how to do it, so I'm using the PowerPoint on my TV set, so I don't have to write on the board. I know my handwriting is not that good, and my assistant, his spelling is terrible. So, okay, so sentence structure. Now, pay attention to these three letters. I am going to go into detail later. Remember them. S-V-O. You don't know what they mean yet. That's okay. I want you to memorize those letters. As we go on, you're going to learn what they mean and why they are so important to you. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide. Okay, so SVO is in a sentence in English, in Chinese, in Spanish, other languages like Italian, French. There may be other languages that have the same sentence structure. Okay. Now, this is the biggest difference. I repeat, the biggest difference. The sentence structure for a question is VSO. So we have to switch S and V. As I said, you don't know what these letters mean yet because I want you to memorize these letters before I explain to you what they mean. Just know that when there's a sentence, it's SVO in English. When there's a question, it's VSO. Now, I've studied many different languages, and I have not seen another language that has the same question structure that switches as English. Like I said, there may be one out there, but I don't know of any. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide. Okay, so here is where I'm going to explain why these are so important. Again, I'm going to go into SVO later. Notice SVO is English, Chinese, and Spanish. However, the sentence structure, and this is only for a sentence, in Korean, in Turkish, in some other languages, it's SOV. So notice that the V and the O are switched. Now, why is this important? Because if you switch the V and O in your native language, but you don't switch it back in English, it's not going to make sense. So you have a sentence and you're translating that sentence from your language. I always tell my students, don't translate from your language. Whatever you want to say in your native language, transfer it to English, but just remember the sentence structure. Okay, now, here is the part where you've been all waiting for. I didn't want to do it at the beginning because when people learn this, oh, I know it, goodbye. So I thought about that. So if you're still here, now you're going to learn what it means. Okay, so S stands for subject. In English, it's a noun or pronoun. That is it. V is for verb. Okay. Now, notice I didn't put what languages this is because it's the same thing in any language. S in any language is a subject and V is a verb. Okay. O is the object. Same thing in other languages. So that's why I said you can transfer from one language to another, but you got to change the sentence structure. However, in English, we have noun, pronoun, adverb, or adjective. Now, why is this important? Most other languages, they use nouns and pronouns for the subject. They don't really use adjectives, or for the object, excuse me, I misspoke. They don't use it. Another thing is, in English, adverbs are what we call mad verbs. That's what my teacher used to taught me when I was young. Because they can move. So sometimes you can actually move the object in the front if it's an adverb. Okay, so I hope that everyone's paying attention. I will go on to the next. Okay, so as everyone knows from the first video, my assistant's name is, my assistant, somebody who's helping me with the videos, doing some videos, is Dave. So here is a sentence in English. Dave is there. Dave is the subject, which is a noun. Is the verb in the middle. And there is the object, which is actually an adverb. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, the verb, the question is, which is the verb, Dave there? Now, pay attention. I didn't write it down, but I'm doing it now. Watch this. So, I can say, there is Dave. Notice that I took the object and I put it in the front. Notice that that's the object. I can do that only because it's an adverb. So I can put there is Dave and the sentence is fine in English, only because it's an adverb. If it wasn't an adverb, then you couldn't do that. Suppose I said Dave is funny. Okay, I could do that. Funny is Dave, I cannot do it because funny is not an adverb. It's an adjective. That's why I want to let you understand. I don't really suggest that you switch the object in the front because that's a little difficult, but I just want to let you know that we can do that. Okay. So let's go on to the next one. Okay, so now this is wrong, but I want you to see how this is wrong. Dave, there is. That is incorrect sentence structure for English. However, in Korean, in Turkish, other languages that has SLV, they will use that. So if they translate from their language to English, that's what they're going to say. That doesn't make any sense. For example, I studied Korean. So in Korean, the subject, Dave, is the same thing. So I would say Dave. The object, which is there, I would say chogi. The verb is isayo. So if I said Dave chogi isayo, people would be looking at me like, what? That doesn't make any sense. In Korean, it wouldn't make any sense. So I would have to change the sentence structure from English to Korean to say it in Korean. Most likely I would just say, Dave isayo, which means Dave is there. Was Dave there? Remember, sentence structure is really, really, really important. Okay. So, with that, please remember SVO, subject, verb, object. Do not forget that. So when you translate from one language to another, make sure you know what you're doing. If you like this video, or if you don't like it, it's your choice. Please leave me a thumbs up. Or if you don't like it, leave me a thumbs down. But please subscribe, and please comment on my videos so that I can improve myself. As I'm helping myself, I can help you better. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.